well, it's time to drop the puck with Biscuits and Penalties. I'm your starting goalie, Alex, and joining me, as usual, is Cobra. How are we doing tonight?
Well, in all open honesty, at least I'm not in the penalty box this time. Ugh, that'll definitely help.
Definitely. And before we get into the Olympic action, we have some movement down in the ECHL with the Utah Grizzlies hockey team moving from Utah to Trenton, New Jersey following this season due to sale of the team because the longtime owner Dave Elmer did unfortunately pass away in 2023. So the team is selling under a new owner and moving to Trenton, New Jersey after being in Utah since 1995 in 3 decades. A big move to Trenton, New Jersey, a city has been clamoring for a hockey team. What do you think about all the movement in the ECHL with new teams coming in and teams moving, as with the NHL, also with teams moving and popping up, with the Mammoth being popular now?
Well, all I have to say is I believe that the Utah Grizzlies were probably the big driving factor for the Utah Mammoth to even get a team in Utah in the first place. You know sometimes it doesn't take much. You plant a seed. You plant a seed of a sport. You let it germinate, you let it grow, and you let it thrive in a market like Utah or any other team that has never experienced um sport like that before. I mean, I know Utah has the Jazz, which by the way, what does Utah know about Jazz? But then again, that's because they were formerly New Orleans. Um, but anyhow, but it's because of minor league teams that major teams can actually be formed. That's how we got. Now it's not necessarily successful all the time because sometimes minor league affiliates can't really drum up support for major markets. Ask the Philadelphia Flyers about how their initial run began, which it wasn't successful. They threw a parade and no one showed up. So it took a while for the Flyers to become one with the city. Um, but yeah, I think it's a sad move that it's a sad thing that the Utah Grizzlies had to move to Trenton. But at the same time, the Utah Grizzlies should be remembered as a franchise that helped bring forth the Utah Mammoth. So no shame in saying farewell. You know, they walked so the Mammoth could run.
Yeah, definitely agree. And we saw, like I said before, the ECHL is always adding new teams, relocating teams. We have a team coming in from New Mexico next year, which I'm excited to see. I'm excited that the West Coast is getting more involved with hockey, with the Mammoth popping up, the Kraken coming in the picture a couple years ago. So the West Coast is getting more hockey teams in both the minor league level and the major level, which can enact more fan bases. Obviously, Utah Mammoth was a big team, though. Obviously, the Coyotes that moved to Utah became the Mammoth after being the hockey club for a year, which sounds like a soccer team. But I'm glad the Mammoth did what they have popped up because of the Grizzlies. I believe the Grizzlies are the second to last team to relocate, and the Idaho Steelheads are the only team left to not relocate from, I think, a group of very prestigious ECHL teams that have been moving since like 2012. The Steelheads are the only team out of that has not relocated. I don't know if that's an Idaho thing or they just have no place to go because everywhere is taken up by a new team popping up or team moving. But I have a suspicion that the Steelheads might move out of Idaho depending on if they move to Utah to replace the Grizzlies or move to a different state that doesn't have a hockey team. But I feel like the Midwest needs a team in the minor leagues. But definitely interesting to see what happens with the ECHL. The Steelers actually just played the Solar Bears on Fox, I think like last night or 2 nights ago. So definitely big TV coverage for the ECHL hockey. But yeah, definitely a good move for the Grizzlies. It sucks that they have to move out of Utah after almost 4 decades in the same city. But hopefully, the fan base moves with them or so supports them from a distance, or they might become Mammoth fans to pack that stadium more because the Mammoth are playing really, really well this year. They're in a playoff push right now, and they're playing well. So definitely excited to see how this goes with the ECHL. But I wanted to have a little fun with the Olympics in a few weeks. February 12th starts the tournament, so we will be covering the Olympic tournament as it's going on the podcast. So I wanted to have a little fun and do a little
I was
game.
about to say, hopefully, with the Olympic podcast uh, or Olympic contest, we'll have Chris from Newt City on as well. Hopefully, because obviously Chris, is Florida Panthers fan, and when it comes to Olympic hockey, he enjoys that. Obviously he's coming on board for the World Cup, but always exciting to have him.
So I wanted to play a little game to reflect back on after the Olympics finished to see how we did. So I want us to predict who we think will win the three medals gold, silver, and bronze based on the rosters we have seen so far. So I want you to go first, Cobra. Who do you think from the rosters you've seen would take home the gold, bronze, and silver medal? You can be biased or not. You say the United States for gold, but who do you think will take home all of the gold, all the medals come the Olympic ceremony?
Well, I could definitely tell you that I don't think America is going for the gold this year. I'm not even going to say Canada. I am going with a wild card here. I'm going with Finland for the gold. I'm going Finland for the gold, silver for Canada, and bronze for America.
Definitely an interesting list. Finland's kind of been looked as an underrated roster entering the Olympics. Obviously, the favorites are going to be the United States, it's going to be Canada, it's going to be Slovakia. In my opinion, I think Slovakia has a well-rounded team to do something big in the tournament this year. But my three, I'm going to go with. I think Sweden has a big opportunity to go for gold. I think they have a great roster put together. They have a good NHL roster built to win. I think silver will go to Finland. I don't think Finland has the capabilities to go for gold like we think they are and we think they're going to be. And then bronze, I would
I
love to say the United States, but in recent memory, the United States haven't been that good at the Olympics for taking home medals. So I think that Slovakia or maybe even Switzerland will take home the bronze. So mine is going to be Sweden, Finland, and Slovakia or Switzerland will take home the bronze medal. This
uh,
just
on
I
my
see.
my comment on Finland here. You said that they were underdogs, and in my opinion, Finland reminds me of the Czech Republic from 1998 Nagano. I you can't put Finland under a microscope. You have to keep a big eye on them. They're going to surprise people. I think they're going for gold.
Definitely interesting. But like I said, once the Olympics conclude and we get the ceremonies finished up, on the podcast, we will go over who was right and who was wrong and what we could have done differently in talking about who was going to take home the medals. I'm excited for it. I'm pretty sure Koba's excited for it. With the Olympics being in Milan, Italy, and the stadium looks to be complete, but there's still some speculation of it being completely finished or not. But they did play some games in the stadium, practice games, which they did well after they fixed some problems with the ice. They played 6 games after fixing it, and the ice fared pretty well in that arena. They had fans in it, so obviously it's sustainable for fans, but I'm not sure how many fans will be able to be in that stadium come the Olympics February 12th, which are in like 2 weeks. So definitely interesting to see how the stadium goes. Obviously, it's been a big talk on this podcast with me and Cobra that we don't think the stadium will be 100% complete by Olympic time. It might be suitable enough to hold enough people that won't fall apart or get blown up because of how unstable it actually is. So I'm interested in what Milan Italy can do with the stadium. I'm intrigued after the Olympics because we all know the Olympics, usually the Olympic Village or the arenas built for it kind of sit there and rot, or they get taken down and moved around. So we'll see come the Olympic time what happens. So with the the trade deadline right around the corner, obviously it's not until March, but we still talk about it a few months in advance because a lot of teams are looking to shift around, to make plays, to make big time moves, to fix the roster. And one team in particular that has been struggling this year has been the New York Rangers. The management team believes a retool of the roster may be what needs to happen, and that might be trading away some big key players. They've been struggling recently without defenseman Adam Fox and without goalie Igor Shesterkin. They have been outscored in the past 10 games because they struggle to win at home. So, Cobra, my question to you is what do you think the Rangers are going to do come the deadline to get out of the 46 point something are in to try to make a surge for the playoffs late in the season?
I don't think they're going to make a search for the playoffs at all. I think they have to sell because they have a cap situation. With Shesterkin out, Jonathan Quick cannot carry the whole load. As old as he is, with even though he's got great talent, still Father Time is undefeated, and I don't think the Rangers can sustain keeping Jonathan Quick. So that would be one of the first moves is to trade Jonathan Quick. And I gotta say this: there is a team currently looking for a good backup goaltender, and that's Philly. Philadelphia has great starting goaltender with Dostal, but Samuel Ersson has been a bust. He has been an absolute bust for the Flyers. He can't stay consistent, and every time he's been in net, he's let the team down. So my advice would be for Philadelphia to trade for Jonathan Quick. Do a goalie swap. Ersson for Quick. That's what me personally. It's what I would do. Quick is on the downside of his career. He's not going to be the LA Kings version of Jonathan Quick, but he's still got some life left. This is probably going to be his last year, but Philadelphia, is primed to move forward. So that's what I would do if I were Philly. Is trade with the Rangers and do a goalie swap.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. As a Cowboys fan who despises New York Rangers, am I'm not like happy they're sucking this year. I think the Rangers have a very solid team. They're a good team this year. Injuries have been the problem with them. Adam Fox, of course, is a great defenseman. Igor Shesterkin is probably a top 10 goalie in the NHL when he's not.
He is a top 10 goalie. And you want to know something? You want to hear something funny? Believe it or not, that pick that allowed the New York Rangers to draft Igor Shesterkin was Washington Capital property.
Well,
Yeah, because here's what was funny. And Steve Dangle did this in the trade tree. This was Igor Shesterkin was actually a piece off of the Yaroslav Halak trade tree when he was traded to the Capitals.
interesting tidbit. I did not know that. I'm probably
I
too
gotta
young to
send you
realize
that
what
trade
happened
tree
with
because
that.
that'll frustrate you.
Yeah, no. So the Rangers are a good team, but Adam Fox and Shesterkin are two big losses to them. And like I said before, they could not, for the life of them, win at Madison Square Garden. I don't understand. I don't get it. At Madison Square Garden, the Rangers are complete ass. On the road, or they win all the time. At home, nah, they can't. I don't know. They just lost what by 8 goals to the Bruins, 10-2. I think that was in Boston. I'm like, how do you win road games more than at home? Madison Square Garden is one of the hardest places to like play any sport in because how louder it is, but the Rangers fans are just dead because of how bad their team is. And I don't know if selling everything at the deadline is what they need to do and build up draft capital, but it might what needs to happen. And trading Jonathan Quick, looking at trading some of the other key guys on that team might be what they need to do to get out of this. Because we saw with the Bruins last year, they were in a slump. They traded Brad Marchand, they got picks for him. Panthers went on a run and won the cup against the Oilers in 7 games. So it's like we've seen teams with big players in slumps trade the big guy away, get picks for it, and it works out. It doesn't work out. So maybe Jonathan Quick might be the answer to trade away to get some draft capital and to help some other teams. I'm hoping not the Flyers because they're in the Metropolitan, but who knows? Maybe he might not get traded. They might just roll over and die because of how bad they are this year. But I don't know
Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
per se. It's
Um,
definitely intriguing with New York management how they do because the Rangers went out of this spot last year. The Rangers were, in a playoff fighting spot last year. They just barely missed the playoffs by I can't think 3 or 4 points. Now they're in a position what do we need to do? Do we just need to blow everything up and start new, or do we need to try to rebuild young? Because their roster's old. They have a couple old guys in that roster Adam Fox is getting up there. Adam Fox is, I think he's in his late 20s, like early 30s, I think. For defensemen, that's pretty concerning. Ovechkin is
yeah.
a defenseman. He's 41, but he's slow now. So we'll see what happens with the Rangers. Before we move on, we want to take a break for our affiliate of tonight's episode, and that is our friends over at Fubu TV. If you're looking for a free streaming TV service to get ready for the hockey playoffs, the NFL playoffs happening now, and so much more, make sure you guys use Fubo TV. You get all the sports channels and all just at your fingertips. So if you do, make sure you use our link in our bio to support us and our friends over at Fubo TV. We thank you guys for checking out Fubo TV, and back to the program. I
Right.
was going to talk about the Western Division, specifically the Pacific Division, in terms of the playoff race in the wild card round. I know we've been talking a lot about the playoffs, a lot about the wild card, this, that, and the third, but oh my god, it's too early. Well, it's
To
not
be,
too early to talk playoffs
hold
because
up, Alex.
yes,
We, one, we're in January, you know, and I think it's a perfect time to talk about the playoffs because, watch in about a couple weeks, blink and they'll be here. That's how quick
definitely.
the Stanley Cup playoffs arrive. So never say, "Oh, it's too early." No, when the year turns, yeah, you get excited for playoff hockey.
So yeah, I wanted to talk about the close race in the Western Division and the Pacific Division. There are three teams right now, basically neck and neck. Obviously, the Avalanche are the front runners in that Central Division, but the Stars and the Wild are not too far behind them. Now, obviously, the Avalanche are pushing to win the 80 points, so trying to win the President's Trophy, but they have been struggling recently to try to win games. So I want to know from you, Cobra, do you think the Avalanche are going to fall off because they have been losing games and losing tight games recently? And who do you think will overtake them if they do tend to fall off the cliff?
The answer is no. I don't think they're going to skid too far because the this Colorado Avalanche team reminds me of one of their biggest rivals, and that is the Detroit Red Wings, basically, aka the O2 Detroit Red Wings. The O2 Detroit Red Wings, which a lot of people consider the greatest team ever assembled in hockey, actually suffered a bit of a midseason skid, believe it or not. They were actually losing they lost like 5 in a row, around this time. So I say no. I don't think Colorado is worried. I don't think Colorado is in trouble, and I don't think they're going to lose their spot. However, if they do, Minnesota, I would see Minnesota overtaking that number one spot over the Stars, primarily because Minnesota is driven. Minnesota is driven. Minnesota is hungry. And also, more importantly, Minnesota is pissed. All I gotta say. I have nothing more to say about it. Remember her name. Her last name was good.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think the Avalanche will fall off too much. If they do, the Wild have an opportunity to overtake them. Wild are playing well. The offense is playing well. The rookie goalie is outstanding this year. Rookie goalie started off so well for the Wild. And Kirill Kaprizov is playing well. I think this Wild team is very underrated looking. Obviously, the stars are there with Jason Robertson and I'm spacing on the goalie name at the moment. I know it is. That's from spacing. But like this Wild team is dangerous. Look, I know they have 61 points. They're 2 points behind the Stars right now. But if you overlook this Wild, man, they're going to surge. And I think if the Avalanche do fall off, which I don't think they will, but they just lost to the Maple Leafs at home like 3 days ago in overtime, which is scary.
All I gotta say about that is be careful about these teams that are right behind you in second and third, because if you slip up, they will eat you. That's it.
Definitely agree, and it's happening right now in the Eastern Division, the Atlantic Division. The Red Wings are nipping at the heels of the Lightning, only 1 point back. The Canadians are 2 points back on the Lightning, so the Lightning better get their crap together because who knows? We could be talking about the Red Wings or the Montreal Canadiens having an opportunity to drive the Eastern Conference in the Atlantic Division with the Lightning slipping up because they are right now.
And in that conversation there is another team that is white hot right now, and that is the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, they have that number one wildcard spot right over the Boston Bruins. They're tied with them for that spot. I mean, the both conferences are tight for the wild card, but the East is way tighter. Every team is 4 or 5 points behind the team previous to them. So
Yeah,
it's crazy to say that.
there is no quit in any of these teams. Well, maybe the Rangers, actually, but still.
It's definitely intriguing with both these conferences, but look out for the Wild this year. Definitely intrigued by that. So before we get to the games of the weekend and our standings, I wanted to address the league leaders currently that might be in contention for awards. The solo awards this year, three of the categories are led by Avalanche players. Nathan McKinnon leads in goals, and Mackenzie Blackwood leads in saves and save percentage. But McDavid leads in points with McKinnon at 81 points. Who do you think will walk away with the most goals, the most points? Do you think Mackenzie Blackwood can keep it up to be the best goalie come the end of the season?
I definitely believe Mackenzie Blackwood does walk away with the Vezina. I definitely believe that. Um, Now, does McKinnon hold on? Yeah, actually, because Connor McDavid has not been able to maintain his grip on the scoring title. So I see McKinnon taking this. I think the Avalanche might have a tag team of award winners.
I do want to point out something very funny though. In goals against, Mackenzie Blackwood and the backup goalie for the Avalanche, Scott Wedgwood, are neck and neck for that spot, and Scott Wedgwood is fourth on the save
And you want to
percentage.
know something funny? Those two were teammates on the Devils. Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood were the cap wearers to Corey Schneider. You know, and they both and both of them would end up getting traded each.
The only goalie I see surpassing Mackenzie Blackwood in save percentage is Philip Gruber. He has a .922 save percentage for the Seattle Kraken. The Kraken have been playing amazing hockey so far. I don't know how he's not over Barco right now. He's has a 2% difference. Um, but it's definitely intriguing to see how the Kraken have bounced back so well from their struggles in the playoffs.
Well,
They're like into the third year as a team. It's just crazy to say that Phil
it's
Gruber.
about time Philip Grubauer lives up to the potential that he showed when he was with the Capitals. When he was backing up Braden Holtbeast.
Yeah, I do miss Brandon Holtby, man. 2018 Stanley Cup champ goalie. It sucks, man. We just haven't been able to find a goalie like him ever again. Even though we have
You haven't found goalies like them. Two of them. Grubauer and Holtbeast. So
it's also intriguing that Devin Cooley's on here, the Flames goalie. He's third in goals against and save percentage. The Flames have actually been sneaky good this year. They've been an overlooked team at the midseason mark for the most part, because midseason is like February, March. So it's definitely interesting. But I do think that McDavid will be the points champion this year. I think the Oilers are playing for vengeance this year to try to get back at the Stanley Cup, because guess who's not in the way? The defending Cup champions. The Panthers are not in no way in the finals. If they can make it there, I don't see any team beating them in the finals. I mean, they have a chance. The Avalanche have a chance to beat them in the conference final game, but I don't think the Oilers have anything in their way to go to the Cup
yeah,
this year, because there's no Florida Panthers.
The Panthers. I don't think are going to defend their throne. I don't think so.
But with McDavid 6 points, 6 goals behind McKinnon, he needs to get going. He's been struggling this year to keep the goals going, and the Oilers have been struggling to win games as of late. So we'll see what happens with the Avalanche if they fall off a cliff or they keep driving, because this is a interesting team. And will they defeat the curse of the President's Trophy winner, which is not losing in the second round of the playoffs every year? Because the President's Trophy winner has never won the Stanley Cup after winning the trophy, because the curse is real. The curse is real.
Oh, of course.
But with that being said, we're going to talk about our games of the weekend. We got 2 games for Saturday and 1 for Sunday. So, Cobra, what are you tuning on this weekend and keeping a close eye on?
And just my camera here, and as soon as I take a quick look, you know what I see? Wild Sabres and Rangers Flyers back to back.
That's how you do it. That's some cinema right there.
Yep. And then on Sunday, there's only 3 games. Give me the Blues and Oilers. Western Conference matchup. Looks like it's going to be fun.
Definitely intriguing matchups. I was looking at that Saturday slate, and he took the 2 games. I was going to take one of them because they look like really good games. But with that being said, give me the Kraken and the Mammoth. Give me the battle of the new franchises going head to head. Obviously, the Kraken are not that new, but this is a battle of 2 dominant new franchises that are making a massive playoff push. Utah is coming off of a dominant win against, I think, the Maple Leafs. They've been playing dominant. The Kraken are fighting for that playoff spot still. This might be a good game at 5 p.m. So look out for this game. If you're not watching the Mammoth game, what are you doing? Because that game is going to be unbelievable tomorrow night. And my second game for Saturday, you know what? Give me the Predators and the Golden Knights. I do like this matchup. Mitch Marner just got booed to hell against the Maple Leafs last night.
Yep.
Why? I do not know. The Maple Leafs fans do not like Mitch Marner and booed him.
You know who else probably got booed at the Vegas Golden Knights home arena? famous women respecter Carter Hart.
Makes sense.
You
'cause
knew
they're
that was
playing
coming.
the Predators, so that makes a lot of sense. I do like this game. I don't like West Coast games. I don't really watch them. They're on too late. They're not usually on TV where I live, so I'm gonna keep track of the score for the Predators Golden Knights game on Saturday. And Sunday, since there's only 3 games, I only have 2 options. And that, for me, is going to be the Senators and the Red Wings. Senators have been shocking me this year as being a team that can make some noise in the Eastern Conference. And the Red Wings are, like I said before, are battling for that #1 spot in the Atlantic Division, hoping that the Lightning just hit a rock and just fly off a cliff because the Lightning are 1-2 losses away from losing that spot to the Detroit Red Wings. And the Red Wings are doing something that we haven't seen in a long time, actually playing well and not pulling at Detroit.
The Iser plan is finally working. The Iser plan is finally working.
We're going to be going on to the standings now. So, Cobra, you have the Atlantic Division. I will have the Metropolitan. And then you will have the Central, and I will have the Pacific Division.
All right. Leading the way, as we alluded to earlier in the Atlantic, is the Tampa Bay Lightning at 29, 13, and 3, 61 points. Right behind them are the Detroit Red Wings, 28, 16, and 4, 60 points. Then, right behind them, the Montreal Canadiens, 26, 15, and 7, 59 points. Nipping at their heels in the first wild card spot is the Buffalo Sabres. No longer Buffalo, they are Buffalo. 26, 16, and 4, 56 points. Also with 56 points, and in the second wild card spot is the Boston Bruins. 27, 19, and 2, 56 points. And now dealing with a reality that, hey, you can't lose, you can't not make it to the second round if you don't make the playoffs at all. The Toronto Maple Leafs. See, they're thinking. 23, 16, and 8, 54 points. Right behind them is the reigning, defending, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. 24, 18, and 3, 51 points. And in last of the Atlantic Division is the Ottawa Senators, who made one of the biggest mistakes ever trying to give weight to the Linus Ullmark situation. 22, 19, and 5, 49 points.
Leading the way for the Metropolitan Division are the Carolina Hurricanes. They are 28, 15, and 4 with 60 points. Right behind them are the New York Islanders, 26, 16, and 5, 57 points. Pittsburgh Penguins, 22, 14, and 10, 54 points. Also 54 points, my Washington Capitals at 24, 18, and 6. Philadelphia Flyers are 22, 16, and 8, 52 points. The Devils are 24, 21, and 2, 50 points. The Blue Jackets are 21, 19, and 7, 49 points. And the Rangers, trying to find something to fix the season they're having, are 20, 22, and 6 with 46 points in the basement of the Metropolitan Division.
All right. Excuse me. A little bit high there. Leading the way in the Central, the Colorado Avalanche. 33, 4, and 8, 74 points. Behind them, the Dallas Stars, 27, 12, 9, 63 points. The Minnesota Wild, also behind them, 26, 13, and 9, 61 points. The Utah Mammoth, 24, 20, and 4, 52 points. The Nashville, not your creepy uncle Predators, 22-20-4, 48 points. The CM Punk beloved Chicago Blackhawks, 19-21-7, 45 points. The St. Louis Blues, 18-21-8, 44 points. And the Winnipeg Jets, imitating their New York brethren, 19-22-5, 43 points.
Got to study their fall off. President's Trophy winner to the worst team in the Central Division, the West. I don't know how that's possible, but
It's plenty possible, man. It
leading
is.
the way in the Pacific, the Las Vegas Golden Knights at 23-11-12, 58 points.
As
Edmonton,
alluded earlier, they have famous women respecter Carter Hart in net.
Edmonton Oilers right behind them at 23-17-8, 54 points. The Kraken 21-16-9, 51 points. San Jose Sharks are 24-19-3 with 51 points. The Kings are 19-16-11 with 49 points. Anaheim Ducks are 22-21-3, 47 points. The Flames are 20-23-4 with 44 points. And potentially tanking to win the draft lottery, the Vancouver Canucks at 16-26-5 at 37 points.
There is no, I don't think there is potential. They are tanking.
Oh, 100% they're taking. I don't know. You win what? You win 16 games. That's a little suspicious. Vancouver. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
But I would like to plug our other podcasts. The Lap Down of Racing podcast. Excited for season 3. Moving nights to Monday nights because the Gutter Edge, our bowling podcast, will be on Tuesdays. Our new podcast with Cobra and Ricky talking all things PBA bowling. We're excited to get that kicked off with episode number 2. Pass the
And
pigskin.
not only that, I wanted to say, it is quickly growing, man. We have some very special people lined up coming up for the Gutter's Edge. I won't say who we've got lined up as of right now, but trust me, when I'm able to make that announcement, it's going to be huge.
Definitely agree. Pass the pigskin, our college football podcast with our friend Billy over at New City. Third two podcast, our baseball podcast. We're excited for spring training to get back on the field for all you guys who watch us. The Hard Count, our football podcast.
Tomorrow night
to go over the divisional round and the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. We also
the handed down beat down. Also this Sunday. This Sunday,
our non-sports talking podcast.
Yep. Which, by the way, I will say the next episode of The Bench will be the last week of January because we will be celebrating 100 subscribers on The Bench. So that, all of the hosts should be there, to thank you guys for showing up for Handed Down Sports Media. Thank you.
Definitely agree. We are on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, and Patreon for something 99 cents or support over Patreon. And whenever you get your podcast from, well, that is the final horn, and we'll have to step off the ice. Good night, everyone.
Good night.